Hello everyone and welcome to part 5. There are many sources that talk about the Zhou. Primary sources include the oracle bones, bronze inscriptions, and the Book of Documents. A secondary source is the Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian. As I mentioned in the last video, oracle bones were made from ox shoulder blades and turtle clasp bronze. The Shang dynasty used oracle bones extensively, and the Zhou used them as well, but to a much smaller scale than the Shang. The Zhou dynasty is split into two major eras, Western Zhou and Eastern Zhou. Zhou oracle bones have been found at Zhuyan in Shanxi, Suun in Shanxi as well, and Liulia near Beijing. Zhou oracle bones mention Zhou kings who asked questions about wars, weather, and governance. The process of oracle bone divination was the same as the Shang. However, oracle bone divination declined later in the Zhou period. It was replaced by other forms of divination such as I Ching, also known as the Book of Changes. Shang bronze inscriptions were very brief, unlike Zhou bronze inscriptions, which are very detailed. The early Zhou dynasty from 1046 to 771 BCE, also known as the Western Zhou, is considered part of the Bronze Age of China. Zhou bronze inscriptions varied in length and were found on ritual vessels such as ding tripods, zhong bells, and fangzun wine containers, which were all used for worship of the ancestors and deities. Legal agreements about land, family history, military battles, and royal rewards were found on Zhou bronze inscriptions. The longest Zhou bronze inscription is found on the Mao Gongding from the late Western Zhou period. The Mao Gongding is a ritual bronze tripod cauldron. It has 500 characters arranged into 32 lines on its interior surface. It details commands from King Swen to Lord Mao. This picture shows the Mao Gongding. This picture shows a Zhong bell, and this picture shows a Fangzun wine container. The primary source is the Book of Documents. This source contains speeches, battle declarations, and announcements by Zhou kings. In the modern script version, there are 19 chapters. Chapters include speeches made by King Wu justifying the Shang overthrow, details on the conquest, and Zhou political philosophy. A secondary source is the Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian. Information about the Zhou is found in the 12 basic annals, the chronological tables, and the hereditary houses. In the 12 basic annals, the origins of the Zhou tribe, the overthrow of the Shang, and the establishment of the Zhou dynasty, a detailed description of important rulers such as King Wen, King Wu, and the Duke of Zhou, the dynasty's decline through bad rulers, and a chronological list of Zhou kings are all found in this section. In the chronological tables, the table functions as a genealogical tree which charts royal lineages and family lines. In the hereditary houses, feudal states, noble families, and prominent figures of the Zhou are mentioned. As I mentioned in the last video, King Wu defeated the last Shang king and established the Zhou dynasty. The Zhou dynasty is split into two periods, Western and Eastern Zhou. The Western Zhou lasted from 1046 to 771 BCE. The first king was Wu. There were 12 kings. The Western Zhou implemented a political system called the Fengzhen. In the Western Zhou, the king was the most important person. His authority was backed by the mandate of heaven. The mandate of heaven states that a ruler can only rule if he is just, otherwise the mandate is lost. The king would give land to royal relatives and allies. These relatives and allies would become lords. The lords would rule the king's territory independently, but provided tribute and military support to the king. These titles were passed down through the same family. The ordinary people were primarily peasant farmers, and some were artisans and merchants. Peasant farmers farmed the land assigned to them by the local lord. They had to pay a portion of their crop yields to the local lord. They also worked in infrastructure projects for the dynasty. The last king of the Western Zhou was King Guo. He was overthrown in a rebellion and was killed. The capital of the Western Zhou was sacked, and the royal family fled and relocated to Chengzhou, modern-day Luoyang, beginning the Eastern Zhou. The Eastern Zhou lasted from 770 BCE to 256 BCE. This picture shows the geographical extent of the Western Zhou. The spring and autumn period lasted from 770 BCE to 481 BCE. This period is named after the Spring and Autumn Annals. The Spring and Autumn Annals, known as Chuanqiu, is an ancient Chinese historical chronicle arranged in an annals format. It serves as the official historical record of the ancient Chinese state of Lu. It is one of the five classics of ancient Chinese literature. It is called spring and autumn because in ancient China these seasons were used to track the passage of time. Also, agricultural and political life was heavily centered around these seasons. The Eastern Zhou during the spring and autumn period was a weakened dynasty. The Eastern Zhou kings were only ceremonial figureheads. Before the fall of the Western Zhou, the royal house held total control over its vassal states. After the dynasty fell, those same states grew much more powerful. There were more than 150 vassal states. They fought against each other. Qi, Jin, and Shu were the most powerful and were competing with one another and smaller rivals for total dominance. The hundred schools of thought emerged during the spring and autumn period and the warring states period. These periods were a time of great social turmoil and political fragmentation of China. Chinese philosophy flourished between the 6th and 3rd centuries BCE. The chaos of the spring and autumn period and the warring states broke down old social structures, allowing new ideas to emerge. There were many schools of thought. Major schools of thought included Confucianism, Taoism, legalism, and Moism. Out of these, Confucianism has had a profound impact on Chinese society for over 2,000 years. Confucianism was founded by Kongqiu, known as Confucius in the West. Confucius lived from 551 BCE to 479 BCE and was born in the ancient Chinese state of Lu. Confucius's disciples compiled his teachings into the Analects. According to tradition, Confucius is said to have edited or put together five ancient texts known as the Five Classics, but these texts existed before Confucius was born. The five classics are Classic of Poetry, Book of Documents, Book of Changes, Records of Rites, and Spring and Autumn Annals. Confucian teachings focus on social harmony through the five key relationships. These are ruler and subject, parent and child, husband and wife, elder brother and younger brother, and friend. Except friend and friend, all the other relationships are hierarchical. The golden rule of Confucius was what you do not wish for yourself, do not do to others. This picture shows a page from the Analects. Sun Tzu, whose real name was Sun Wu, was born in 544 BCE according to traditional Chinese accounts. However, his exact birth date and which part of China he was born in is debated. He is the author of The Art of War. The Art of War is an ancient Chinese military treatise. It has 13 chapters, each dedicated to a distinct aspect of warfare. It talks about how a state should be fully versed in the art of war, how to handle enemies of various strengths, the use of spies, using the terrain to your advantage for battle, and economics of war are some of the aspects mentioned in this treatise. It has had a significant legacy over thousands of years. The Warring States period lasted from 475 BCE to 221 BCE. This period followed after the Spring and Autumn period. During this period, there were seven states that were fighting for dominance. Out of these seven states, one would conquer the rest and establish the first imperial dynasty of China. The seven states were Qin, Han, Wei, Chu, Zhao, Yan, and Qi. As I mentioned before, the kings of the Eastern Zhou were a powerless figurehead. There were 25 kings of the Eastern Zhou. The last king, King Nan, was deposed by the Qin in 256 BCE, and in 790 years rule of the Zhou. This picture shows a map of the warring states. I'm gonna end this video here now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the like button. Leave your comments down below. Correct me if any of my information was wrong. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and press the bell icon so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in the next video.